Next we will cover widget manipulation on the panels, including adding the widgets, moving the widgets around on a panel, removing a widget from the panel, and I'll briefly touch on the individual widget settings. I'm going to start by showing the sales panel. As you can see, only the time series viewer widget is placed on this sales panel. But we want to add more. So we put our mouse over our selected widget, which we'll use selected product. Click and hold your left mouse button and you'll see the cursor change. Then you drag it to the right into the panel and you can see the cursor change again. For the initial placement, just drag and drop anywhere on this screen, like so. Because we have only added one, it will take up a lion's share of the sales panel. But we want to add more. So we will leave this one as it stands right here. We will hit done. And we'll choose the next one we want to add. Let's go for product notes. Again, click on the left mouse button and hold it, and then drag over to the panel. Now you can see at this point we have the product listing and then the product notes here on a separate title bar. If we want to move these around, we can either lengthen them or shorten them. You can see as we do this. We also have the option of again using the left click and hold method on the title bar to move this product notes down to a different location. You can see we have a number of different options. We can put it above the time series viewer. We can put it far to the left on the panel. We can put it far to the right on the panel. We can make it take up half of the same layer as the time series viewer. We can put it right back where it was essentially. We can move it down to take up half of the lower. Or we can put it right below the product information. Because the product notes doesn't take up a whole lot of room, we'll go ahead and have it share the same layer as the product information. We can then, if we want to make the time series viewer have a little more real estate, drag this whole layer down. When we are satisfied with the setup, we hit done to go back to the widget selector. I also wanted to include the sales trend widget on here because this is the sales panel. Again, left click and hold, drag over to the panel. The sales trend doesn't take up a whole lot of room, and that's about as much room as you need it to, and I'm satisfied with where it is. But I do want to still maintain more real estate for the time series viewer, so I drag it down just a touch. And then I can hit done. We can also choose the sales momentum. And we'll drag the sales momentum right to the side. What can be one of the problems for some of these widget settings is getting them put exactly where we want to. So the sales momentum, we'll just move it back up here and then put it back down. And from here we can say, oh, let's drag this down just a touch, and we can hit done. So now we have our sales panel set up with the widgets that we want to see on here. If we want to remove widgets from the sales panel, we'll go back into Edit, and using the left click and hold method, we can drag sales momentum off the screen, and now it is no longer in the sales panel. If we want to add it again, we can click on sales momentum and pull it right back in. When we were setting up the employee permissions and dashboard ownership on their record, there was the option, we'll go back to the employee record real quick. There was the option to set up, there were the default context settings to set up the number of past periods and number of future periods, and whether it'll be a monthly or weekly view. This is then reflected in the global settings here at the top. If a user has the permission in the plugin to change the individual widget settings, they would be able to click on these down arrows here for each widget and change the past and future periods and period in progress for the widget itself. If someone doesn't keep all the widgets on the same time period, it can cause data problems and irregular numbers. Again, Rutherford recommends that you use the global settings rather than the individual widget settings.